How's it going, everybody? The song is still going on in the background. How did we do this? We're almost ready. I don't know if y'all can hear the music or not.
We're still muted.
Are we? What's another day without Agent Smith?
I know.
How's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday, 6th of... What is going on? We have an echo.
Now try.
All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today on this Tuesday, 6th of August, 2024. Hope everybody's having a good day today. Thanks for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and pill.net.
And if you haven't already, please take a moment. Are you unmuted?
I am unmuted.
Okay.
All right.
Please take a moment and hit that thumbs up button if you're over on Rumble or YouTube. Take that pill if you're over on Pilled, the red pill, please. And smash that heart if you're over on X. And Agent Smith, go suck it.
I have no idea what happened there.
I don't know.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know.
All right. So, hope everybody's having a good day. You can tell that Agent Smith is doing Agent Smith kind of things. Congratulations, Agent Smith. That was fun-ish. Yeah. All right. You've done your shenanigans. Time to sit back and watch now.
Okay, we got F. Clint in the house.
What's up, F. Glenn?
Yeah, him and Lightsphere was letting me know it's okay to start it up. Got Renee in the house.
Hey, Renee. Thanks for joining us.
Chachi.
Chachi, what's going on, man?
There you go.
There's Lightsphere.
And Miss Bethany.
And Miss Bethany Ann. Thanks for joining us, Bethany Ann.
Why were we flipped? Because everything was going crazy.
It's
when
it's
we
okay.
first started.
It's Kay's fault.
Yeah, okay. Miss Tracy.
Hey, Tracy. She sent you a video.
Yes.
Hello to everyone. Hey, Wendy.
Miss Wendy.
How are you doing?
Where did you send me a video, Miss Tracy?
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, 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 dun.
Anyway.
The plot thickens.
The plot thickens.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, we'll wait for that message. But anyways, yeah, go ahead. What were you going to say?
So it's been a crazy day, guys, with the hoe.
Well,
that we all know and don't like.
She is what she is.
Yeah.
I have to do what she got to do till she learns
I wait
it
for that
for
answer
herself.
from Tracy.
Uh-huh.
Well, Miss Wendy, how you doing, sweetheart? Let's go ahead and get started.
All right, let's do that.
From basement Biden to Hayden-Harris, Democrats are sticking with the strategy of playing keep away with their nominees. You believe it's been 15 days since Kamala Harris became the presumptive nominee, and she has still not held a press conference, done an interview. Heck, she hasn't answered a single question from a reporter. Well, but maybe there's a reason for that.
The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time, and there is such great significance to the passage of time.
When they're making her disappear, well, they're making her old radical views disappear too. Oh, sorry, it's not disappear. It's just a natural evolution to, no, don't call it a flip-flop.
I think that voters should think that she's a human being who learns new things every single day and has the ability to take the time and effort to hear the concerns of all people.
So no concern about flip-flopping?
No concern about flip-flopping. This is our country changes every single day. The conditions of our country changes every single day.
Joining us now, Victor Davis Hanson, Senior Fellow at Hoover. Victor, in these precarious times, to say the least, will the voters just be fine or content to settle for a TikTok president?
I don't think so, because they know what's coming. She's going to flip from hard left to moderate and see if she can get elected. And then as soon as she's elected, the voters know she's going to flip right back where she was in the beginning. And that's something they've seen for 4 years with Joe Biden. And they're confident because they feel they've swapped a cognitively challenged candidate, or Joe Biden, and now they've got a linguistically challenge candidate. It's the same problem, but they have a solution. They think it's the 2020 solution. They're going to outraise Trump and saturate the airwaves. They're going to keep her away from any disinterested real journalist or ad hoc environment. And they're going to count on the 70% of the electorate who won't show up on election day, but will vote early or mail in the swing states. And finally, this is the key. They're going to try to, as we said, flip her and turn her into a Joe Biden from Scranton. That's going to be hard because she's never been before a moderate audience. She's always doubled down. She wasn't just against fracking or for open borders, but because she was always speaking to left-wing people in California. And in the 2020 primary, she's on record for saying, yes, we have to do this. It's emphatic. And so today, Laura, is 90 days until the election, and it hinges on whether Donald Trump can stay on message and convince the American people that she's going to flip this way and that way, and she's a hard left Bay Area politician. If he can do that, he'll win. If he doesn't, it's going to be very problematic.
Yeah, well, I think, look, when you watch that whole, the National Association of Black Journalists, I mean, he did a phenomenal job at that. You know, there was that one moment where it kind of got all the attention. So that got people completely distracted. Then in Georgia, it was a great crowd. Everyone's really happy. And then, you know, some of it became about Brian Kemp, the Republican governor. And I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. Shooting inside the tent right now of the Republican Party, that's a loser strategy. That's not going to work. They tried that in 2020, and we lost 2 Senate seats. Then in 2022, we had some more. It doesn't work. You got to focus on what they are doing to destroy this country.
Absolutely. Brian Kemp, whatever the disagreement, he's already endorsed Trump. So it doesn't do any good to go back and say that Joe Biden was the worst candidate in history, because he's not running anymore. And
Right.
people are
Who
starting
cares
to
about Biden?
feel sympathetic. Yeah, they're feeling sympathetic for him because they don't have to have him around after January. So don't waste time on Brian Kemp. I wouldn't even get into the past history, personal history, or
waste of time
of Kamala Harris. I would just say that she is flipping in a very opportunistic fashion just to get elected. And then once she's elected, it's the Obama 4th term. And you know what that's like. And if he sticks to that in those swing states, and he and JD Vance, there's no more articulate person that can make that case, they will win. But if he gets off on these tangents, I'm worried.
Yeah, well, Vance has been fantastic. And look, you vote for her, you're going to get poorer, and the streets are going to be more dangerous. Vote for me, have more money in your pocket. Gas will be $2.25 a gallon. End of story. Win the election. Victor, great to see you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to.
So thoughts, Santino?
So the fact that they're hiding Kamala Harris is no surprise whatsoever. She has nothing to stand on, and they know that. You know, it was pretty well covered there. She's a big nothing, and they're going to have to hide her. And now they got that weird VP pick, and he's awful. I mean, he's the one. First thing he did was start DEI over there in what was it, Minnesota, right?
Yeah. We're going to go over
We're going to go over some of that later.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So we'll go over that part later. But really, I don't expect to see them very much. They seem to be quite content with running absentee campaigns. And, you know, like we showed the Kamala Harris website yesterday, there's absolutely nothing there about policies, ideas, concepts about how she's going to make this country better. You know, it doesn't even say Build Back Better on there.
I know.
So, you know, take that for what it's worth. Let's see. Oh, Bethany, I bet. She says, I have so many thoughts on the VP choice. Main one, they win, we're doomed. And yeah, that's exactly what that looks like. Hey, Aaron, thanks for joining, brother. They're hiding under they're hiding under Bill.
They're hiding her
under Bill Clinton's desk.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, Wendy. The more she talks, trying to sound intelligent, the stupider she shows herself to be. Yeah, because she doesn't even have the ability to do, you know, like circular, like reasoning. Like she can't put a thought out that can kind of sound intelligent. Like she can't even do a word salad.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, here we go.
All right.
So you're now no longer are you necessarily keeping those private files in some file cabinet that's locked in the basement of the house. It's on your laptop, and it's then therefore up here in this cloud. that exist above us, right? It's no longer in a physical place.
Come on. Kamala. Kamala. What the girl? Are you that Kamala, have you been living under a rock? You literally think the eye clouds are above us? No, Kamala, the only thing above us is the real clouds, not our cloud. Oh my God. Kamala, be honest. You can be honest with me. Okay? I know you said a while ago that you were washing your collard greens in the bathtub. You wash your greens in the bathtub. Were you smoking those greens that you were washing in the bathtub? Kamala, were you smoking those greens or something green before you did this interview? I won't judge you. If you be honest with me right now, you be honest with me, I won't judge you. And I promise I will not hold it against you. I promise I won't. I don't care what nobody say. If you be upfront with me right now, Kamala, you let me know that you've been smoking those greens before these interviews. If you just come forward and be honest, I will not judge you. I will say, okay, thank you for being honest and stay off of those damn greens. Oh my God. Y'all, this is y'all, I was gonna say this is who y'all chose, but did nobody choose her? The DNC chose y'all, the Democrats chose this woman for y'all. And basically, they chose her for everybody. They want her to be the president for everybody.
That's terrifying. That's terrifying.
Thoughts?
They want her to be the president for everybody.
Hey, Hope.
Now, yeah, like what was being said, it'd be Barry's fourth term. And we know what fourth term looks like. And I know that like the whole Iran thing going on, don't forget about that pallet of cash that was sent over there to Iran. Yeah, it's Obama's fourth term and it's looking like it. It's looking like that's what the plan is. But, we'll see how it is because she's lost in the sauce. Like she's only going to be marginally easier for Obama to try to fix or control. I don't, she's going to try to go off the cuff and she's going to screw that up too. I know it. I could see it. Yeah. Hopefully she shows who she really is before this is all said and done. So that way the people that were thinking about voting for Kamala actually have this moment of clarity, an epiphany, if you will,
Right.
where they recognize, oh, wow. Yeah, we're better off with Trump.
Oh, something. You ready?
Yeah.
Got more Kamala.
Joy.
This is absolutely crazy. Watch this.
Donald Trump does not care about border security. He only cares about himself. And when I am president, I will work to actually solve the problem.
You're vice president now, and you've been supporting what the president has been doing. Under the Biden-Harris administration, this is what immigration has looked like. This is from 2016 to 2023. I want you to guess when the Biden-Harris administration came into power and the results of that. Yes, when you see the chart go vertical, that's the result of the Biden-Harris administration. So they inherited all the work that Trump did on the border. They then went and reversed all the work he did, set records in illegal immigration, and are now coming and attacking Trump saying he doesn't care about the border and we're the people who care about the border. We just had 4 years of you guys caring about the border. You guys did not seem to care about the border until these re-elections came around and you were losing in the polls. Then Democrats started acting like they care on the border. But these numbers show us they don't care about the border. Not to mention all the people they let in on that vertical spike, they've been talking about trying to give them citizenship. So they get into office, they let millions of people in for the first 2 to 3 years. Then around election time, when they're losing in the polls and they want to come to you and say, we're serious on the border, guys, we're serious. And get out of my face with that.
Thoughts?
Just the pure gaslighting. She was the border czar. Like, has nobody heard about what's going on at the border and how it's made its way into the interior of the country, going to all those fine sanctuary cities? You'll hear about that again later with the VP pick.
Mm-hmm. We are going to go over that.
Yeah. And so sounds like it will be a smooth transition from one border czar to the next.
Mm-hmm.
How's that sound? Yeah. It's just they believe their own crap. They
They
really
really
do.
do.
They tell their lies and they believe it. It's almost impressive.
Almost.
Almost
Almost.
impressive. But they really
Almost.
believe the crap that they say.
Yes.
Whatever.
Ready?
Yeah.
Got more on Kamala.
Oh, jeez.
I know.
All right. If there was ever a time in American history where we really wanted to pay attention to pronouns, now is that fucking time. Unfortunately, in the United States of America, a woman cannot be president. So all of this stuff that y'all are seeing right now is a big fat smokescreen, and I will prove it. Again, it's not my opinion. I could fucking care less if a woman becomes president. More power to you. However, all we gotta do is revert to the Constitution and just read it. It is the supreme law of the land, isn't it? Okay, so here's Article 2, Section 1. Which lays out the rules and regulations for how a president is chosen and who can be president. Here we go. The executive power shall be vested in the president of the United States of America. Period. He shall hold his office during the term of 4 years and together with the vice president, notice that there's no pronoun there, together with the vice president chosen for the same term, be elected as follows. Now, you can go on and read the rest of the Constitution, Article 2, Section 1 for yourself, but we are going to move on. This is still Section 1. The president shall, at stated times, receive for his services a compensation which shall neither be increased nor diminished during the period for which he shall have been elected. And he shall not receive within that period any other emolument from the United States or any of them. That is reference to payment. Before he enters on the executive of his office, he shall take the following oath of affirmation. And you can finish reading that for the affirmation, but let's move on to Section 2. The president shall be commander-in-chief of the Army and Navy of the United States and of the militia of the several states. When called into the actual service of the United States, he may require the opinion in writing of the principal officer in each of the executive departments upon any subject relating to the duties of their respective offices, and he shall have power to grant reprieves and pardons for offenses against the United States, except in cases of impeachment. He shall have power by, do y'all get what I'm going with this? Huh? He shall have power by, with the advice of the consent of the Senate, to make treaties provided with 2/3 of the senators present occur, and he shall nominate. We get what I'm saying? Let's move on to Section 3. He shall from time to time give the Congress information of, y'all get what I'm going? Y'all get where I'm going? This is not to piss anybody off. Now, many people are going to say, well, but women's suffrage is what changed that. Well, where's the ratification at within the article? Where's the ratification at within the article? I'll show you many amendments that have the ability to ratify things that have done so. Where's the ratification for this one? So here's what I mean. Here's an example of a ratification of an amendment that changed an article passed by Congress December 9th of 1803, but later ratified June 15th of 1804. Note, a portion of Article 2, Section 1 of this Constitution was changed by the 12th Amendment. See that? Changed by the 12th Amendment. Now, what portion of that is? Look down here at the bottom, and you can see that semicolon, or that parentheses down at the bottom. And if the House of Representatives shall not choose a president whenever the right of the choice shall divulge upon them before the 4th day of March next following, blah, blah, blah. All I'm saying is the ability to ensure that this stuff is placed inside the Constitution as a matter of ratification to allow women to be president. That ability is there, and it matters based off of what your legislators do. But did they do that? No. So again, I am not for or against a female being president. I could really give a shit less. However, ensure that the documentation is legitimate so that we can keep operating in good faith here for the American people. But unfortunately, we're not operating in good faith. And I am thoroughly convinced that this is the biggest smoke screen of them all. The biggest smoke screen of them all. To include the smoke screen that came from when Hillary Clinton was running and everyone wanted to vote for her and all that other stuff. Listen, guys, it's really simple. It's really easy. We don't have to argue about this and we don't have to fight for it. Unfortunately, a female, a woman, a her, a she cannot be president. All of this stuff that y'all seen is a fucking smoke screen. Peace and love. I love y'all and I hope y'all fucking learn something.
All right, Santino, thoughts?
Wow.
We got to say hi to Miss Jenny.
Yeah, we got to say hi to Jenny. Hey, Jenny.
Hey, Jenny.
Oh, that's not Jenny.
Watch out for the frogs, Jenny.
It's been forever since that happened. Fat fingers getting in the way. Whatever. Okay, so that kind of blows my mind. The dude actually read the Constitution and listened. It's interesting, and he makes a super valid point. Boy, that would really be that sets some
Pronouns matter.
Oh yeah,
They tell us that all the time.
I know. I was doing so good for so long, Jenny. I have no idea. I hit the wrong button. There we go. Okay, now I know where the frogs are at. Anyway, I'm not trying, Wendy. Oh, geez. Anyway. My mind is blown right now. Like I have never even read it like that.
I told you. Didn't I tell you?
And I'm sitting here looking at the 19th Amendment. I was like, okay, well, what about women's suffrage? And so I'm sitting there like I couldn't wait to hear him get to the point because it was like, okay. And I pulled up the Constitution as well. Yeah. I know. And you said that you were double checking his work. Yeah.
And he is absolutely
He's 100%
right.
correct. He's 100% correct. So you hear that, ladies? Sorry. Apparently that glass ceiling can't be broken.
Maybe that's why they're making us pay attention to pronouns so much right now.
Now that makes a lot of sense. I mean, pronouns, yeah. I identify as and try to pull that. Boy, that'll be a Supreme Court ruling in a hot second. I'm surprised. So are we waiting to hear somebody's challenging this? Where's Lloyd Brunson when you need him?
Right? Yes, ma'am, I will.
That's wild.
You ready?
Yeah.
I got Doc.
Okay.
We're not done with Kamala yet. We're getting close.
Oh,
but
God. What is with the Kamala Fest?
it's important right now. Let's go.
I'd rather go to Burning Man.
Let's go.
I get an absolute kick out of these former Biden supporters, now Kamala supporters. Sit back and look at you and say, I'm voting for Kamala because of her policies. I really hate to be the bearer of bad news. I visited her official page. No agenda, no policies, just a virtual store, a link to donate to her, if you want to call it, campaign, and then a bunch of nonsense. What policies? And before you say it, okay, nobody's running on reproductive rights, okay? Reproductive freedom. We got people out here that don't even know who the father of their kids is. I think we've got more than enough reproductive rights. Oh my God. Surprised. You must have forgot who the hell you were talking to. The nerve that someone would even say something like that. That is insulting to so many women. And calling everyone you disagree with a fascist and anything else you can conjure up is also insulting. What's your point? You have got to be the biggest misogynist I have ever come across. Yeah, whatever. So what policies of hers do you support? Is it the being unburdened policy? The yellow school bus policy? Today is tomorrow, tomorrow's today? Which one? Well, she's not Trump. We can start there. DEI hires are not good for politics. Oh my God, you have got to be, you know what? I'm done. I am so done. Identity politics is very dangerous. She would be the first Black woman president. Like, isn't that like something that needs to happen? You mean Indian? You're being very racist right now. You are a racist misogynist. No plans, no policies, no real agenda, lies about her race, no leadership skills, completely failed at everything she's ever done. You see, friend, there's a reason why we call her VP Hawk Tour, because she took on a few submarines to get where she's at. Oh my God, I'm so done talking to you. Have a good day, Karen.
I love Doc. He's great. I'm glad we talked about it. You know, I mean, we've been all talking about this, but man, he can really put together a story, can he? That's great. Mike says Kamala is an anchor baby, not constitutional for her to be president. I've heard that too. I've heard, yeah, the dick taster. Exactly, Jenny. Oh, I never did put that picture. I need to put that picture. Okay, would you remind me, please? Thank you.
I will.
I suck at social media.
I know, and everyone's like, "Kay, what do we do to you? All these Kamala videos." Sorry, guys. Sorry,
It's a
not
new moon.
sorry.
Yeah, it's a new moon.
But this is we
Whatever
talk
that
about
means.
current events, and she is in the current events.
She is in the current events.
Yeah.
Mm.
Ugh. So, one more about Kamala.
Oh, jeez.
But she's not on here. So,
Okay.
and it's not like I'm showing all of her. Other people are talking about the dumb hoe.
From what I understand, there's not too many people who haven't seen all of her.
I know.
Okay. Well,
Jenny wants you to make it into a shirt.
I know. I've been wrestling with it, Jenny.
Yeah.
I've been wrestling with it.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Vice President Harris will say repeatedly, what is the quote? The quote is that we can see what can be unburdened by what has been. Is that word salad or Marxism? It's Marxism. That is, in fact, not at all word salad. It is a Marxist, as I said on Twitter the other day and got mocked relentlessly by the media for this. I said it's a Marxist incantation, as a matter of fact. It's like a spell. So you can see the possibility of a world that's unburdened from its own history, which is exactly what Mao Zedong did when he launched the campaign of Smash the Four Olds, the four old characteristics of Chinese society. They were going to make a new China that was going to be unburdened by what had been in the past of China. This is what the Soviets, the Bolsheviks, did when they took over power in Russia, is that they were going to make the new Russia. They're going to make the new man, as a matter of fact. People could become unburdened by what has been so that they could see what could possibly be in the terms of a socialist utopia. So, Madam Vice President, when she says that, I assume, given that her father was a Marxist and a professor, I assume she knows what she's saying, and I don't buy her idiot Valley speak shtick one bit. I think she's far more smart and far more savvy than conservatives have given her credit for, and she is an outright Marxist. It is very, very clear in her language, and that's what the Democrats want to nominate for president right now, which is kind of horrifying.
All right. Thoughts, guys?
Bethany, do you want to go first?
Yeah, Bethany.
The fact that the Democrats didn't get a choice as to who was going to lead them just continues to tell me that this is so much of a setup.
I agree.
It does look like a setup.
It really does.
It does look like a setup. And the fact that this guy, that they're bringing in, he's a straight up Marxist.
We got a couple more videos and we're getting into him.
Anyways, yeah, this is the watermelon ticket, you know, green on the outside, pink on the inside, because they're a bunch of commie pinko bastards over there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about that.
So how about we have Kelly. We're going to talk about the Middle East, and then we're getting into dumbass.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Can I show you something in the Bible I bet you've never caught before? Two things, actually, in one story. Oh, son, this is good. You remember the story of Legion, right? He was the guy who was so demon possessed. The Bible said he had a legion of demons living inside of him. So here you've got Jesus and his disciples preaching to 5,000 people, but then they all go get in a boat, leave the 5,000, risk their lives in the middle of a brutal storm to end up at a cemetery in Decapolis. Decapolis means 10 cities. Now, Decapolis is only mentioned twice, and this is the first time. That's going to be important. So they get to Decapolis and they see this man with a legion of demons. He is so demon possessed that the townspeople chained him to the cemetery. And you thought you had it bad in your town. Now, as soon as Jesus gets here and they see this man, the demons recognize Jesus right away. And the demons start to beg Jesus not to torture them. The Bible says the demons beg Jesus not to send them out of the area. Instead, cast us into that herd of pigs, they said. Let us enter the pigs, the demons asked Jesus. Now, let me be honest for a minute. When I was reading this story and I got to this part, I started to laugh. You demons are ridiculous. You think Jesus is actually going to do a favor for you? Jesus won't do a favor for you. He's casting you back to hell where you came from, punks. But that's not what happens. Watch this. Jesus actually answers the request of a demon. Are you kidding me, man? A demon? That's exactly what Jesus does. He grants them permission to go into the pigs. That's crazy. Now, here's the first thing I want you to see. How many times have you not gone to God with something? How many times have you had a request, but not taken it to God out of fear that he wouldn't answer it? Out of fear that he didn't care, that he's not listening? How many times have you not asked God for what you need because you thought you didn't deserve it? How many times? The truth is, we've all done this. But here's what God revealed to me in this story. If Jesus is willing to answer the request of a demon, how much more so will he do for me and you? Hebrews 4:16 says, so let us come boldly before the throne of our gracious God. There we will receive his mercy and we will find grace to help us when we need it most. You see, what this is telling us is God wants us to bring everything to him boldly. Look, if you ever feel like you're bothering God, or he doesn't have time for you, or he doesn't care about your request, that is a lie from the devil. Of course, Satan doesn't want you taking everything to God because he knows God cares about you. The question is, do you know that? It's time to stop believing the lie and go boldly before his throne today. I mean, come on. If he will answer the request from his enemy, a demon, don't you think he wants so much more for you? You're his child, who he loves more than anything. I mean, come on, this should be encouraging you right here. But hold on, it gets so much better. You see, here's the next thing you might have missed in this story. You see, after he cast the demons out of this man and he's completely healed, Jesus did let the demons go into the pigs, and the pigs all ran off a cliff, and they didn't survive. So now you've got all the people from Decapolis coming to see what's going on. What's all this commotion about? And now the people from Decapolis see all their pigs are dead. But they also see Legion, and he's completely healed. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking these people are going to be excited. Look, Legion's healed. He's completely set free. This man, Jesus, has the power to set people free. I want more of Jesus. But that's not what happened. Instead, they get mad about the pigs. The pigs, bro. Are you kidding me? Here's a man with the power to set people free, to heal what's broken. And they were concerned about the money. I mean the pigs. They get so mad, in fact, that they beg Jesus to leave. And Jesus, being the gentleman that he is, he obliges them. But as he's leaving, Legion comes up to Jesus and says, let me go with you. I mean, come on, I get it. Stay with the people who chained me to a cemetery, or leave with the guy who just set me free. Yo, Jesus, I'm coming with you. But Jesus tells him no. Jesus tells him, instead of coming with me, I want you to stay here in Decapolis and just tell your story. Tell everyone you can in the 10 cities about how I set you free, about how I changed your life. Just tell your story. Then Jesus and his disciples get back in the boat, go back across the water, and keep preaching to the 5,000. Now, I know this sounds like the end of the story, but it isn't. Oh, get ready. It's about to all become crystal clear. Remember how I told you Decapolis is only mentioned twice? The first time when Jesus gets to Legion, but where is the second time? I'm so glad that you asked. You see, the story of Legion is found in Mark 5. But if you move ahead to Mark 7, we see Jesus coming back to Decapolis for a second time. Now, the last time Jesus was in Decapolis, they begged him to leave. But watch what happens this time. Mark 7:31 says, again, Jesus came through the region of Decapolis. Then they brought to him one who was deaf and had an impediment in his speech. And they begged Jesus to put his hands on the man and heal him. Oh, son, did you just catch that? They went from begging Jesus to leave to begging him to stay and heal. What happened? What caused this major shift in their attitude? Only 2 chapters before, they're begging him to leave. Now they're begging him to stay. What could have caused that? Well, the Bible doesn't tell us exactly, but I think we can figure it out. What happened was Legion did exactly what Jesus told him to do. Jesus told Legion, stay here and tell your story. And I'm guessing that's exactly what he did. I mean, I'm sure every chance he got, he told the story about how Jesus set him free. Because when you've lived a life in bondage and you find out about Jesus and he sets you free, all you're going to want to do is talk about it too. That's why I'm talking to you. And I'm also guessing that people saw Legion. They could see the change in his life. They knew that had to come from something besides him. So now when Jesus comes back and they hear that the guy who healed Legion is now back, oh, get ready. They want what Legion had, an encounter with Jesus. Oh, please don't miss how big this is. Jesus left preaching to 5,000 people to go through a life-threatening storm to heal one man and then leave. Why would Jesus do that? Because he understands the power of one. One man's life being radically changed by Jesus led to 10 cities being radically changed by Jesus. Please hear me, my friends. If you think your story of how Jesus changed you is of no importance, you are sadly mistaken. Don't you dare ever think for even a second, who am I? How can I help anyone? I'm just one person. I don't have a huge following. People don't know who I am. It doesn't matter. The truth is, the Bible tells us we overcome by the blood of the Lamb. That's what Jesus did. And the word of our testimony. That's your story. Jesus was willing to leave 5,000 for one because a revolution involves many, but it always starts with one. So let me encourage you today. Go to Jesus boldly with whatever request you have. He loves you. And don't ever feel like your story doesn't hold any weight. If Jesus changed your life, your story is one of the most powerful weapons you have. Start using it, but also never neglect the one. You know, the one that you think is too far gone. The one you think would never accept Jesus. Go to the one. Jesus did because he sees the value in every person, and we should too. I mean, you never know. You may be the one to start a new revolution or revival for Jesus by telling your story to the other one. I mean, I guess we won't know unless we try. So go try. Tell your story of how Jesus changed your life to anyone you can and watch what happens. You won't be disappointed. And think about that for a minute.
All right. Thoughts, Santino?
Man, I love Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, Tracy. One voice leads to thousands, and it's a beautiful thing. It really, if you think about it, if one person has their life changed. Okay, me for instance. Okay, I don't have some giant following. We don't have some giant following or anything. We have a good time, but at the same time, we've been able to share our story, our testimony with all of y'all, and it's something that's changed. Both of our lives in the process.
And I will say that over all platforms
Mhm.
that we are on, we have 19,742 followers. Is it huge? No, but
It's pretty cool, though.
it's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. So, with that being said, now, granted, a lot of that's on TikTok, and we don't do very much posting on TikTok, but it's one of those things where we go out and we talk to some people, and then each one of you goes out and you talk to people. Some people you will inspire other people, and that's how it really changes. Is it gets out by word of mouth. People, you won't always change somebody's mind. I know that some people can be very difficult. I was one of those people for a very, very long time. But at the same time, it does sink in. It does like start to make sense at a certain point in time. And once you're called, you will have had all of those voices that were trying to help you all along. And you didn't know how to appreciate it or respect it or give thanks for it at the time, and probably won't later on. But I can tell you that it is is nice to see that those people cared enough to actually say something to me. So we should always go out there and tell the good news about how our lives were changed. And I think that that's a beautiful story. Hey, thanks, Dad. Tracy says, God never said you needed a big following, just a flock.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Fatal Attractions, thanks for joining. Ask the questions and plant them seeds. Exactly. Beautifully said.
I love the fact that he brought up how Legion stayed back and told his story because he had followed his word.
Mhm.
And that's what made the difference in the entire town. So it's literally, it wasn't even Jesus teaching and preaching or healing or any of the other things. It was somebody who was outside of that zone. Just
Mhm.
amazing.
Well, and you think about it, how powerful of a testimony is that going to be that I'm sure everybody in the Decapolis, knew about the crazy guy that they had to chain inside of the
Naked.
yeah,
Naked.
in the
chained up
cemetery.
dude. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, there's a naked chained up dude. I have a feeling the word's going to spread pretty fast in that day and age, especially when there isn't television trying to distract everybody. It's going to be talked about at the water well, and the information's going to get passed on. And so when people see that this guy is healed, wow, what a testimony, that would be. It's like, aren't you the naked crazy dude? Well, I was.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Woo. Let me tell you about what happened to
Let
me.
me tell you about my Lord and Savior.
Let me tell you about my Lord and Savior.
That's amazing.
And the question about the pigs, that one's bothered me too. I understand that the pigs died, but what happened to all of the legion of demons
See,
that
I
were?
agree with Mike. I believe they died in the pigs. That's why Yeshua had them go in there, because he knew they were going to run and go be drowned.
Well, yeah, he already knew what was going to happen.
Mhm.
Yeah. I guess there's no coming back from being a drowned pig.
mean,
I have no idea.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know, Hope.
But see, that was kind of where
know.
that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Is like the demons aren't going to die.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're
Maybe
gonna
they
change
went
form.
to,
Maybe
they went to where.
HE double hockey stick.
Yes.
Yeah.
That.
All right.
Exactly. Are you ready?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about what's going on in the Middle East.
Oh.
Okay, so some breaking news in regards to the Middle East. USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group 3, ballistic missile defense-capable cruisers, destroyers, and an entire fighter squadron have been ordered to deploy to the Middle East as a contingency in case anything could possibly go on between Iran and Israel. Now, obviously, this past week has been a little crazy. There's been some strikes happening all over the place, and things have been escalating. So that is going on. That was just ordered by the Secretary of Defense. In addition to that, a whole bunch of airlines have canceled their flights to Israel. Over the past few days, Air India, Germany's Lufthansa Group, and U.S. carriers, United Airlines, and Delta, and Italy's ITA Airways said they had suspended flights to Tel Aviv. Airlines this week have also been canceling and delaying flights to the Lebanese capital, Beirut, after the strike that happened there. Canada even issued a notice to Canadian aircraft to avoid Lebanese airspace for at least a month due to the risk to aviation from military activity. Additionally, there's been a new Joint Resolution 106, which was a resolution to authorize the use of the United States Armed Forces against the Islamic Republic of Iran for threatening the national security of the United States through the development of nuclear weapons. It was introduced by Senator Lindsey Graham on July 31st. When you read the entire thing, it's online. It's like to authorize the use of the United States Armed Forces against the Islamic Republic of Iran for threatening the national security of the United States through the development of nuclear weapons. And it just says whereas for everything. You can read it. It's crazy. In any case, there's a lot going on, and this is definitely a developing situation.
All right, Santino.
They do like the word whereas.
They do.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. So we're heading down this path, and they've been setting this up for a very, very long time. It's nothing that is any kind of a surprise. I do want to point out something. It was August 6th, 2018, Q Post, and we're seeing the fruits of what they've done. So psychological projection, it goes over that. Fake news, and then it talks about fake news, knowingly false narrative pushes POTUS colluded with Russia to win the 2016 presidential election. We're seeing for a fact that Biden colluded with the Chinese to win the election. POTUS is a puppet to Putin. Well, we can see that he's a puppet to Xi, Biden, that is. POTUS to irreparably harm relationships with our allies. Well, I mean, he's certainly done irreparable harm to a lot of areas in our nation. POTUS will collapse the U.S. economy. We're seeing that. POTUS will collapse the stock market. We just saw that. POTUS will cause war with North Korea. I know he just went to go visit North Korea, although I think it was a nice sightseeing tour because I can't imagine Kim Jong-un sitting down and having a rational conversation with whatever character's playing Biden. POTUS will cause war with Iran. Look at where we're at now. POTUS will destroy the world, on and on, knowingly false. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. So that's Q Post 1822. Let's see. So yeah, that's the Delta for today. There were a couple others. There were 5 posts today.
Well, here, read these, please.
Okay. Denise says all that firepower and American military still died. Yeah. Well, they've been trying to make our military weak forever, which was another thing that was stated in the posts as well. Chachi, scare event, coordinating military movement and grounding flights is a good way to show a war without firing a shot. Just saying. Agreed. That's exactly what's happening. They're changing flow of air traffic. The good thing is they, can't blame Boeing for anything that goes down over there. Boeing can't blame anybody else for if one of their planes goes down. Tracy says they don't want an accidental strike on a civilian aircraft again. And that's probably part of it as well. But these are the kinds of things that governments do. What they're doing is posturing. This is governmental posturing 101. So they are showing a war footing, that they're putting the war machine out there. Is Bill around? The generals gather in their masses.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, anyways, yeah, if Bill was around, he'd
I
appreciate
haven't
it. Well, I'm sure
seen-
there's lots of people who appreciate that one. Anyway, let's see. These things that are happening are the exact same things that we did before we went into Iraq, before we went into Kuwait. These are the things that we did anytime we've done a major military operation. So that's exactly what's going on. Another thing is they're sending those troops over there, one, to show, some kind of strength, as if, they know how to show strength. But the other thing is so that way they can put them over there as sacrificial lambs. It was very clear when I was down in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, that the people that are there are not to stop a Cuban invasion. The people that are there are just to be a casus belli, or in other words, a reason to go to war. And so they're putting these people over there. And if anything happens to them, they can say, see, they're terrible people. We must go to war against the terrible people, as if it wasn't our responsibility for putting those people over there to begin with to act as some kind of cannon fodder. And that's the thing that they're doing right now. They're truly setting it up, understanding that they sent those pallets of cash over to Iran when Obama was on the way out the door. It was probably a prepayment for something like this. And Obama's still pulling the strings because Hillary didn't win. I'm sure that threw everything out of whack, but the deals were still in place. And so I think that when Trump got elected to office, that prevented them from being able to do the things that we're seeing today, doing them 4 years ago, or back when Trump was, when Hillary was supposed to be in office, as far as they were concerned. Mike says, I'm on base now. Base is on high alert. And I can imagine that. And that wouldn't surprise me. But then again, there has been saber rattling. They did take out an Iranian terrorist. I forgot the dude's name too.
I can't remember his name.
Whatever. Anyways, one of the problems. And so needless to say, they feel that they have right because over there in the Middle East, they hold grudges. They know how to hold a grudge. They'll hold a generational grudge. Like 5 generations ago, your great, 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 great grandpappy killed my great, 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 great grandpappy. And so now I'm exacting our family's honor on you. That's how they think. So it's not a surprise that that's the way they're doing it. It's just, they're going to play it out, but do not fear. This is all going to wake a lot of people up because they're going to start talking about the draft. They're going to start talking about women getting the draft. They're going to start talking about all these things that all of these woke people have been praying for. And now they're going to see the fruits of said labor, and they're not going to like what they hear. And so it will make it so that way it's much easier to have a rational conversation on the back end of this once Trump gets back into office.
Yep. Thoughts, Bethany?
I guess it's just frustrating because obviously there's a lot of fear out there. And this seems like America is like, here's pre-war. You
That's
know,
exactly what it
we're
is.
going to make sure that everybody is at least got this in their radar so then it's normalized. And here you go. This is what we're doing because now we have to protect those that we sent over there that really shouldn't be over there at all due to the fact that America is taking the stance again that we're God and we need to take power over everybody.
America.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
100% Bethany. Beautifully said.
Yep. So now on to Walls. We're going to start with JD Vance talking about him. You ready?
Yeah. Are you ready, Bethany?
You ready,
I'm
Bethany?
ready. I'm so ready.
Let's go.
Obviously, the big news of the day is that Tim Walz has been nominated as the VP, or is now the presumptive nominee, I should say, for Kamala Harris. My view on it is it just highlights how radical Kamala Harris is. This is a person who listened to the Hamas wing of her own party and selecting a nominee. This is a guy who's proposed shipping more manufacturing jobs to China, who wants to make the American people more reliant on garbage energy instead of good American energy, and has proposed defunding the police just as Kamala Harris does. I think it's interesting, actually. They make an interesting tag team because, of course, Tim Walz allowed rioters to burn down Minneapolis in the summer of 2020, and then the few who got caught, Kamala Harris helped bail them out of jail. So it is more instructive for what it says about Kamala Harris, that she doesn't care about the border, she doesn't care about crime, she doesn't care about American energy, and most importantly, she doesn't care about the Americans who have been made to suffer under those policies. I'll take a couple questions, then we're going to hit the road and go to this.
All right, Miss Bethany, we're going to start with you.
Please, 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 for the love of all things holy and God, go watch The Fall of Minneapolis. We sat here in weeks and weeks of fear due to the fact that we knew that there were rioters on our streets and we had no governmental official that was willing to even think about protecting us until Trump stood in and sent the troops in. I mean, pure pandemonium.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to say what I call him because I'm afraid it will probably get rid of a lot of us on a lot of our feeds. But he takes things to a whole new level when it talks about governmental control and not listening to the constituents.
Right. And I know, I don't know if everybody saw it, but we did play The Fall of Minneapolis here. We did a watch party. And man, I have a few more videos about this guy. And guys, start looking into him. Santino, thoughts?
So the Fall of Minneapolis, it's we played it on here once upon a time, a little ways back, and I think it's extremely important. Bethany, thank you for bringing that up, because it does explain that was the fruits of his labor. That's what
Yes.
he worked towards. Everything that he's done has been just an absolute disaster in terms of what could have been. You know, if we want to unburden ourselves by things that have been, then we need to not vote those what was is to be what might be, because it already has been, and we don't want any has-beens in office. How was my Kamala ease? Was
Good.
that good?
That was pretty good.
Did it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit, then I need to keep working on it. Anyways.
You know, it's absolutely crazy. You ready? Because I got Jack talking about him now.
All right.
Let's go.
All right.
All right,
Hey,
I'm gonna answer
fuckers.
some of your questions, but first I have to say, as long as this holds up through the DNC and the Democrats don't decide to run yet another coup, I demand a debate on neutral ground between Tim Walz and JD Vance. Now, for those of you wondering, she picked Tim Walz for the exact same reasons we thought she would pick Josh Shapiro as her token white guy. Old Democrats are racist and they need a reason to vote. I mean, yes, he's extreme when it comes to things like making sure Gen Z can never own any kind of property or immigration or abortion or experimenting on our children. He also likes to brag about things like passing universal background checks for firearms because he doesn't understand we already have that nationwide, while also dodging the astronomically high crime rates in Minnesota cities. I mean, St. Paul has a higher crime rate than 94% of America, and it doesn't even come close to Minneapolis. This was the guy rolling over the ashes left by the BLM riots right after he shoved grandmas and grandpas into nursing homes to pass away from COVID. But if the Democrats actually wanted to stay true to their woman of color theme, I'm sure there's a squad member or two they could have picked who would have replaced the American flag with one that looked an awful lot like the Somali flag. But they didn't, because yet again I'll say they needed their token white boy to draw in the old racist Democrats. See, lefties, this is one of the many problems you run into when you base everything you do off of race, gender, or sexual orientation. The reason none of your insults land on this side is we've said since the very beginning we don't care about any of that shit. Have you? Nope, that's right. You've told us repeatedly anybody who would skip over the intersectionality hierarchy and draw from the pool of old white men is a racist. But I don't care about any of that shit. I care about getting our country back on track. I care about our children being able to dream of owning their own home. So after the Democrats promise they're not going to run another coup, I demand to see both of these debates on neutral grounds. I mean, the differences couldn't be more glaring. On one side, you have actual Americans who want to pass that American dream down to our children so they could potentially build a life for themselves and their children. And on the other side, you have a couple of radical communists who believe private ownership is selfish and should be abolished. I mean, Karl Marx even said you could sum up communism in one sentence: the abolishment of private property.
All right, Miss Bethany.
I mean, I'm going to go with Jim. I didn't vote for that idiot. He literally says anything north of the cities is all rocks and cows. So we don't matter in his mind anyways.
Wow.
Wow. Is that a Minnesota way to say flyover country like Hillary said, I guess?
And there's
They
a
can't
lot of
help but
people.
do the insult. Oh my God.
There is a lot of people in northern Minnesota, and it's just amazing to me that he's like, anything north of the cities is just rocks and cows.
Just disenfranchise a whole section of voters. And they don't care. Obviously, they don't care. They're in it for themselves. I mean, what could be more crystal clear than the fact that these people only care about themselves, nor do they bother themselves with trying to do anything that would resemble, oh, I don't know, representing their constituents. But, hey, that's me. Aaron says, I'm okay with the abolishment of private property, but I'm turning in my lead first or lead first. There you go. I get it now. Denise, thank you very much, Denise. Denise said, when did we stop actually declaring war? Wasn't that a rule? And doesn't the war set us up for an election suspension? That would be one of the things that they may try. That's what there's going to be a lot of fear surrounding that, but I don't believe that that's going to be able to be done. And I don't have any real reason why other than faith. And I just don't feel it coming down the pipeline. My spidey senses don't tell me that they're going to be able to pull that off. Plus, you have to keep in mind that the Republicans control the House and the Senate, and it's going to require a lot lot more than just a diktat by our dictator and the guy that's pretending to be president right now.
Yes.
So they won't be able to pull that off. So I'm going to say that that's why I feel like it's not going to happen. But they'll certainly try to scare us into thinking that they have that capability. Jim says, I live north of the cities. I see cows, but not all rocks. And cows, nice, quiet country living.
There you go, Miss Bethany.
There
See,
you go.
he's north too.
He's pretty close to me, more than likely. I just went back to there won't be an election in 2024 as you were talking, Santino.
You just went back to you don't think that there's going to be an election?
Well, they've said that before, is that there won't be an election in 2024. Is that because of this goofy war thing that they're setting up?
And see, I don't
that's a possibility, but the
but I don't-
military. Go ahead.
I don't get that because Kim Clement would have talked about that.
But some things can't be said that,
I don't know.
spoil the surprise, I guess. Surprise.
No.
Aren't we having fun yet?
I don't know.
Anyway, there's a lot of great questions about that. So the possibility that we might not have an election, how would that play out and how would that work? So that way the American populace would be comfortable with it, short of starting World War III. And then, but if that's the case, then they have to go ahead and start the draft up and all that other stuff. It's going to look very precarious, but I also recognize that a lot of people have no desire to be in an endless war over in the Middle East. And I think that as people are coming to President Trump from the Democratic Party, I think that that's going to prevent their capability of pulling off something like that. Denise says, wars and rumors of war. Read that somewhere. Yeah, have read that somewhere. And I think it's going to be the rumors of war. Hope says, I think it's because 2020 will be overturned. And that's something that I'm starting to hear a little bit more. Hey, Mike, thanks for joining. I think that that is something that is possibly coming down the pipeline. This is like what we're seeing is they're doing, the socialists are doing like almost like a payback for Bernie kind of thing right now is what it kind of looks like to me.
Really?
Well, yeah, because think about it. Not for Bernie so much, but I'm sure that within the millions of factions that must be, how many people identify as Democrats? That's how many factions there are. So I think that among the factions, I think that the socialists, they have a strong pull, but I don't think that they have all the power. Jim says, just got home. If that idiot selected Walls, be back to Dumb and Dumber again. And yeah, the selection that they made is mind blowing to me. Yeah, there's a lot to chew on. There's a lot that's coming down the pipeline.
The thing is Walz already proved to Kamala that he is going to listen and do everything that she says. With the riots that we had out here, he already proved that he's just going to yep, I'll go lay down by my dish. You tell me what to do.
Yeah, birds of a feather. And that's an excellent point. Is that they've shown that they're of the same thought process because they've been doing it in both Minnesota and in California. And the good people of each one of those states are being held hostage by these, Marxist terrorists. Mike says, I believe we will have an election, but I have a completely different idea on what's going to happen. I'd love to hear it. Yeah, we're all ears here because we know that nobody has the exact info as to what's going on. It's all guesses in the end. Hey, Steph, thanks for joining. All right.
You ready?
Yeah.
Got more on the douchebag.
All right.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry has consistently said what he told us on June 2nd.
I will speak the truth. And the truth is that on Wednesday, around 6 p.m., I called the governor and asked for the National Guard.
Text messages and emails from the mayor's office for Wednesday, May 27th back that up.
He said no, by the way.
Yeah. Again, watch the fall of Minneapolis.
Please, please. We have it in our history. We'll share it back again in our Telegram.
Yeah.
It literally is so eye-opening as to what we went through as residents of this state. That constant fear of when is it going to come north, because there's bigger cities that are north of us, and we're close to major highways. So, I mean, it was kind of a scary time.
Exactly.
I would imagine so. That would be a pretty scary thing to have to go through. And I think that as more and more people start to get comfortable with walls on the left-hand side, I think it's important to bring up that movie, The Fall of Minneapolis, to those who are supporting. Do you know who you're supporting? Because this is what happened under his watch. And that should hopefully help people see what really happened and what was going on. And it has a direct relevance. So using that movie, telling people to reference The Fall of Minneapolis should help get people, go watch Fall of Minneapolis. Then we can talk about, your vice presidential candidate. Hopefully that'll help.
I know, Denise, I know, but
Which one, Kay?
I'm talking about walls right now.
Oh, Semper Fi, brother.
Yeah.
Well, I can understand that.
Thank you, Jim, for my freedom.
Exactly. Let's see. Goodness.
Overtime.
Yeah. So we got another one on him. You ready?
Yeah.
Also
What is that?
standing in that sea of people, a parent, transparent about his family.
My partner Gretchen and I are here today because we are parents of a trans child.
Their child is 6 years old, and she was as excited to be at a boring capital on spring break as any 6-year-old kid could be. Squirming and fidgeting her way through speeches, hardly aware her existence, as why her parents drove 5 hours today to speak publicly.
It's 100% personal. I mean, the safety, the happiness of our child is it couldn't be more personal.
Asher, why are we here today?
For trans rights? For her rights to be her.
As you can see from this interview, I can't force my kids to do anything here. Asher has trusted us enough. She believes in our love enough that she has invited us in to see her whole self. And if we don't love her that much, the opposite would happen, where we wouldn't get to know everything about her. And so we're lucky, we're blessed, and we love her.
So much they came to the People's House this morning to talk about her, the person, in a room reserved for talks about politics.
And there's nothing in this world that I wouldn't do, like Gretchen and I wouldn't do, to protect her and others like her.
All right. Thoughts?
Bethany.
I have to grab my thoughts for a second because
Okay.
there are people, people who are truly trans. That child who appeared to me, and I'm not making assumptions, it just appeared to me that may have been special needs. My child doesn't understand even the slightest concept of what that may be as far as being trans. How does that child understand it unless it was pushed down their throat?
And see, that's exactly where I'm at right now. In fact, hold on. That's exactly where I am right now. This really flipping pisses me off. At 6 years old, you're going to go through so many things. I want to be a cowboy. I want to be, a nurse. I want to be a doctor. I want to be, a veterinarian. I want to be the insert here. This is bullshit. This is mental illness. So the amount of mental illness that we are dealing with at this point is ridiculous, because I've said it before and I'll say it again. I was a tomboy. I was a daddy's girl. I helped my dad work on his truck. I played in the dirt. I had Tonka trucks. At 6 years old, I didn't know I wanted to be a boy or a girl. I was just K. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. This is mutilation of children.
Children who honestly do not have the concept or understanding of their own body, let alone what they want to be when they grow up.
Mm-hmm.
Can you pop Mike's comment back? I'll pop that up. Never mind. No 6-year-old is going to understand that. Exactly. That sounded like a child who saw what they were talking about on TV, understood the emotion that was being conveyed, and wanted to be a part of that fantasy, because kids at that age can't distinguish between reality and fantasy. I mean, think about it when you were a kid, all the things that you used to just conjure up in your mind, and there was no difference between reality and what you were imagining at that point, because you were able to feel and be in that and not care about the rest of the world because you're an innocent child. And that to me sounded like a child laying in her mother's lap that you could see the delusion in the parents, and you can
Yes.
see that they just bought in hook, line, and sinker. Not only did they take the hook, line, and sinker, they swallowed the bobber too. You know,
Well, what it boils down to is they wanted a boy and a girl. And so they're going to turn one of them into a different sex.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. At that age,
Wendy's-
boys and girls make each other sick. They're not trying to become the other sex. Again,
Yes.
it's fantasy land. It's something that makes sense to kids, but that's because it's a bunch of emotionally stunted parents that don't recognize the harm that is to themselves just from merely watching the propaganda that they've been watching, but they don't recognize the sickness that they're passing on to the child because they themselves haven't been able to break out of fantasy land and recognize that there is a reality in this world that they're avoiding, and the dangers that are caused by this. They're
Exactly.
being taken advantage of. It's pretty sick, and I think that these people, they're all going to need a lot of help recognizing that reality just doesn't work like that.
And just because you had two boys doesn't mean that you have the right to convince one that it's a girl, that he is a girl. He is a boy.
Yeah.
They're
But-
literally
dolls. They're dressing
taking-
up dolls.
Yes.
Well, the thing is they're literally taking Let's Play Pretend to the most absolute form,
Mm-hmm.
because there is no changing back after you start making those changes.
I know.
No,
6?
and that's the really like disturbing part is they can't undo. You can't undo that.
Like my stomach is sick.
Yeah, it's crazy, Mike. The level of just insanity that we're watching is almost incomprehensible. Like I can see it happening.
Now,
It's just
Kay, I'm going to bring up something personal with you because I know that you've talked about it here. You've had a pretty major surgery done, and didn't they have you do some psychiatric evaluations?
Absolutely, they did.
Mhm.
How can a
And
6-year-old
not just once.
Yeah.
And not just once. It was for 3 months I had to go speak with them.
Well, and my question is how can a 6-year-old go through that psychiatric evaluation to the point of being approved?
I want to know that too. And mine was
Yeah.
mine
Boy,
was
that's an excellent point.
gastric bypass. Okay. They made my stomach the size of an egg. And for 3 months, I had to go speak to a psychiatrist.
Mhm.
And the first thing they asked when I walked in is your husband making you do this?
Yeah, are you being coerced? Is what they wanted to
Yes.
find out.
But then these children who honestly don't have the ability to make a decision on their own, for crying out loud, we still have to choose what they're having for dinner. are being changed forever.
Forever. I am so mad right now. Like, I am so mad. These little
The ones who know what they're doing.
angels,
Yeah.
these little angels don't know what they are doing, and their parents are pushing it on them.
Well, and like I said, I know for a fact that there's legitimately people out there that are transgender. I support them. It happens. It may
Liars
be
will-
mental health. It may
Yeah.
not be. I don't know, but I'm still going to support their choices because God told us to love everybody. But when you're forced to make that decision before you even have a choice of your own, that's what's baffling to me.
Yeah.
There's a lot that just doesn't make sense here.
No.
JDLR just don't look right, and everything about that news article said that there was a lot of not right, and it's disturbing.
and
It's
that's who
disturbing
they
because
want
there's
the-
professionals who are paid to do psychological evaluations, and they're encouraging this, understanding that the human brain isn't even fully formed until 25 years old.
I know. And that's who they want to be the vice president. Someone who's pushing that.
Yeah, he's got it, so then it's approved here.
That's disgusting.
See, Tracy says let him make the decision between 18 and 21. I say 21 after 21.
After
I say-
21.
I
can't
say
drink.
raise
I can't
voting
make
age.
that decision.
Yeah, I say raise the voting age back to 21, and America worked just fine like that. Yes, under adult supervision, you can have a drink, whatever, but you can't go out and go buy it for yourself. At that age, I think that it's truly detrimental, and I don't think that 18-year-olds having beers is probably the best idea, but I don't think that people should be going to war at 18 either. I think that the draft needs to be going to 21 as well. I think that there needs to be a lot more maturity. And I can say that some of that's just from personal experience. I would have been better off had I had a little bit more life under my belt before I went into the military.
All I can think of is a millstone. A millstone.
Drop
Can you pull that up?
4908. Yeah, I can pull that up.
While you're pulling that up, the other thing that I wanted to kind of bring up here is the irreputable damage that is going to be done to this generation that this is currently happening to.
Hi, Miss Carol.
Hey, Carol. All right. So, yeah, don't say it all sullen and everything. We're happy to see you, Karen. And the deep
Carol.
You're Carol. What did I say?
Karen.
Carol. Oh, my God.
I'm very happy to see you, Carol. I'm just very upset with the last video.
So Q post 4908 was October 21st of 2020. The Great Awakening. Sometimes you can't tell the public the truth. You must show them. Only then will people find the will to change. Crimes against children unite all humanity. Cross party lines. Difficult truths. Q. And these are the things that people need to see. Sadly, we have to see it. Hopefully fewer and fewer kids are getting, the transition surgeries, especially as people are waking up. But it's like people have to see the things that are going on, that are being supported and encouraged. And it's truly having a real mental health crisis within our nation at this point in time. We've seen that there is a mental health crisis associated with all of that. Denise says, where are you getting those posts, Santino? My QPub link broke. This is qalerts.app is the one that I use. Hold on, let me get that link for you. And then Joe, he loves QAG, and I'll share that one as well.
Here, can you read that from Dad, please?
Dad says, huge breaking news. Court just ruled that Google has monopolized the news and was able to stifle the news to their side only. I know there's a lot more to this, but you'll be able to follow up after. And I'm glad. Oh, Facebook didn't post it. Anyways, Thank you, F. Clan, for sharing that one. QAG.news. Skunk. Aaron says to Skunk, show me one thing. Hey, Skunk, thanks for joining. One thing that changed in the last 50 years with peaceful protests. The powers that be don't care when the peasants are in the streets screaming. If it changed anything, they wouldn't. But I will disagree with you there, Aaron, because I will say that the peaceful protests that Martin Luther King did, those were extremely effective, and those helped out a lot of things and changed the way a lot of people think and feel because it showed who the aggressors were. And I will say that that's kind of part of the whole Christian walk, is to be peaceful. Yes, we do have the capability to unleash ungodly kinds of rage. But with that being said, it's the peace that is being brought that truly makes last 50 years. There's been changes through peace, sir. But thank you, Aaron.
Are you ready?
Yes.
I got Jamie Raskin, and this is just so much too.
Okay.
What can be put into the Constitution can slip away from you very quickly. And the greatest example going on right now before our very eyes is Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which they're just disappearing with a magic wand, as if it doesn't exist, even though it could not be clearer what it's stating. And so, they want to kick it to Congress. So it's going to be up to us on January 6, 2025, to tell the rampaging Trump mobs that he's disqualified. And then we need bodyguards for everybody in Civil War conditions, all because the 9 justices, not all of them, but these justices who have not many cases to look at every year, not that much work to do, a huge staff, great protection, simply do not want to do their job and interpret what the great 14th Amendment means. And I'm glad that Sherilyn's creating her new center so we can bring that.
Thoughts?
Hold on, I'm pulling up the 14th Amendment text.
I appreciate that because I'm not familiar with the 14th Amendment.
Okay, so it's a long one. Hold on a second here. I'm just going to read over Section 3 that he was talking about. So, naturalized. Section 3, no person shall be a senator or representative in Congress or elector of president and vice president or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state who, having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as an officer of the United States or as a member of any
He's
state legislature.
talking. You didn't read the thing. What he's talking about is disqualifying Trump on the day after the election.
Uh-huh.
And that if it causes civil war, it causes civil war.
Okay, shall have engaged in an insurrection or rebellion against the same, or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. But Congress may vote by a vote of 2/3 of each house, remove such disability. Okay, but the thing is he would have had to have been convicted of an insurrection, not just the mere accusation of an insurrection. And I think that that's kind of, well, one, look at him. He looks like he should be chasing ambulances somewhere. But okay, despite his looks, because that's not really, it needs to go hide in a dumpster. Not really a good explanation as to why somebody acts the way they do, but he does seem to act that way. That he has a very specific reason for reading the Constitution and the Bill of Rights the way he does, because he has a lot to lose. He's got a lot to lose, and so he's trying to press on that whole thing. Trump is an insurrection. It was an insurrection. Yet at the same time, that was how can that truly be an insurrection? People in the military have even stated that was not an insurrection. And if they were able to make that stick, they would have a long time ago. And I think that it's just more pandering to who Raskin, has under his spell. And not so much for anybody who actually has 2 brain cells to rub together and recognize that he's just lying, that it wasn't an insurrection, that it was a protest, that the people that went there were aggravated by the law enforcement authorities that were there, and that hello, yes, yeah, thank you. Anyways, good kitty. What? All right, she's got a lot to say.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyways, so It's smoke and mirrors is what I'm calling this one. Long story
Yeah.
short.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, if he's such a constitutionalist, why didn't he read a little bit further about the citizenship that's required of an elected official?
Hmm. Well, and that could be very much a part of it, is to get people to read the whole text. As more and more people, well, I mean, we saw this earlier. I don't know if it's actually going to exclude Kamala Harris from being president of the United States. Don't have a problem with a woman being president, as far as I'm concerned. But at the same time, the text of the Constitution could certainly cause some problems for her. But the good thing is that people are starting to read it now, and I think that that's the important part. Is people are actually recognizing that these documents have importance, that if we are a republic, that it's based off of the law of the land, which would be starting with the Constitution of the United States, followed by each and every state, and then the charters, so on and so forth down the line. And so if people are actually reading the whole thing, they'll recognize, and if people will be more open to the concepts when they're brought up, that somebody can't be the president because of this or that or the other thing. And it will actually give us an opportunity to have a rational discussion, which has been denied because they stopped teaching the Constitution so long ago. There she is. Hi, Tux. There's Tux. Hi,
Hi,
Tux.
Tuxie Tux.
He's a tux.
Well, and it was funny because I know that you brought up that he thing that's in the Constitution earlier, so I'm gonna sock you back to that for just a moment.
Yeah.
Who's to say that that doesn't get brought up at some point and Kamala just doesn't change her pronouns because that's just normalized now?
I think that it'll be a trap. I think that if she changes her pronouns, it'll be a trap.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be used against her.
too.
Especially since we're starting to talk about mental institutions and mental health in this nation. I think that if she was to try to play that card, that it would not work well for her in the end.
Exactly.
All right.
Ready?
Yep. Are you?
MAGA is filled with racist, homophobic white people. At least that's what I was led to believe. Because over the past 9 days, I've received more love from the MAGA community than I have from the Democratic Party in 25 years. And in the same way, our economy was better off under the Trump administration. The numbers don't lie. Oh, I have the receipts to back it up. You guys have viewed my post over 2 million times with over 100,000 likes, over 40,000 shares, and my personal favorite, over 10,000 of the most beautiful comments that I've ever read in my life. You guys have embraced me, and you have catapulted this Puerto Rican gay man into the social media spotlight as your spokesperson for common sense. And if it was something that the MAGA community needed, somebody that the left could not call homophobic or racist. Rigo, how did you view us before all this happened? Well, in the way that the media portrayed you guys, I believed that anything patriotic equaled racism. And the media tries to brainwash you. You have to have two things in place: a narrative, Trump is racist, Trump is racist, MAGA's racist, and you need symbolism. And this is honest to God. Anything with the color red, or anything that had to do with the American flag, or anything patriotic, I saw it as racism. I know, crazy, right? That's how warped they had my mind. Again, narrative, symbolism, and the third part, repetition. Rigo, these white MAGA men will beat you up for being gay. Yeah, not true. The message has been consistent with white conservative men in the comment section. We don't care who you poke in the butt. Let's just clean this country up. No, somebody really said that. I thought it was hilarious. I know this might sound absolutely loony to people on the left, but Republicans can have gay people in their family. They might also have gay friends. Oh my God. I know, crazy, right? I was already on the Trump train. I just had no idea how the MAGA community was. And all I've received from them this week, an overwhelming support of love. This experience has taught me anything, is that any group, whether it's gay, Republican, black, white, they all have their set of extremists, people who do way too much. To paint everybody under the same light is just completely unfair. This experience has taught me how to judge people on their character and their actions, and not by the stereotypes thrown at me by the media. I've learned that the MAGA community is diverse, it's inclusive, Most of all, they love this country and its values. And like I said in one of my previous posts, we're not going to accept everything that everybody does. That's just absolutely impossible. But we can always treat each other with respect and with a little bit more love for this country. And to all my new MAGA friends, Trump 2024, baby. Let's get this done.
I want him to be my friend. You need to share that one with me because, oh, that was amazing.
You guys might like that one. Goodness gracious. What are your thoughts on that,
Bethany?
Bethany? Other than you want me to share
I just
it?
think it's absolutely amazing that once again he's pointing out that fake media. I'm going to point out real quick, if you hear a bunch of birds or crickets, it's because I'm sitting outside because things got loud in my house. But the fact that he pointed out that the media is once again portraying people in a certain light and people are just following it like there's no problem.
And see, that's the problem that I see all the time is, oh, hey, Brother Bill.
Hey, Brother Bill.
You guys, please bear with me. I have a terrible migraine, so I'm standing. So if I'm missing comments, I truly apologize. It is good to see more people waking up, you know. And then, Brother Bill, thank you for joining. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In front of the kids. Yeah.
Protect our
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah. Just leave the kids out of it.
Yeah.
And
All are welcome.
see, here's the thing, and this is a perfect case in point, is once people see the reality of what Trump, American loving, like once people actually start interacting with those who love this country, whether it's for Trump or whatever the case is, it is the unity that they recognize that they had been missing all along. It's a total flip of the script. They have always been hearing about how these people hate America, they hate you, they're going to do this, they're going to do all of these evil things, and then all they have to do is show up, and then they recognize these people are nothing like what we've been told.
Exactly.
And it's these kinds of waking up stories that are truly encouraging, because as people wake up, it shows that that those who desire to drive a wedge between the American citizens are the ones that have been pointing fingers at the people who love this country. It is truly a difference between love and hate. They hate anything that isn't their version of America, versus we love anything that loves what America is and can be. It's not about telling people that they can't be themselves. You can be yourself. I may not like your lifestyle. I may not partake in your lifestyle, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to that I'm going to try to stop you and your lifestyle. And that is the great uniting thing. And once people see that that's what freedom really is, then their mind is opened. And
There
the
was all
people on
kinds
the
of
left find themselves in a much smaller group. Yeah.
There was all kinds of different people at the Trump rally we
Mhm.
went to.
Oh, yeah.
Very different people.
Everything was there.
You name it.
Yeah. I didn't see a
And
specific
nobody was
trans
mad.
person. Yeah. But then again, I wasn't looking for, diversity, because I just saw that it was a bunch of people and don't care, because people are there for something, well, bigger than themselves. And that's the part that
Exactly.
matters.
Well, the thing is the fake news is also giving everybody a false sense of security as far as belonging to something. Oh my gosh, this bird out
Mhm.
here is annoying. Thank you for understanding that I'm outside.
Hey, the
Got
bird
something to
wants
say.
the bird wants to make his podcast debut.
Right. I'm like, where'd you come
The
from?
eagle
Really?
of
You were just
freedom.
quiet.
It's an eagle of freedom in the background.
It sounds more like a blackbird or a crow. But they gave
Good
such a
job.
sense of belonging in the fake news that people really didn't understand what it was like to feel to belong to something that mattered.
Exactly. And my thing is, like Carol said, thank you for that. And it's really nobody's business. And that's what it boils down to.
Mhm.
I I am very open and honest with you guys. Our middle daughter has a very beautiful, beautiful, beautiful girlfriend that we love very much. And you know what? Their biggest thing is keep it away from kids.
Yeah.
Keep it away from kids. That's all we care about. And they're the same way. And I love, I don't love my daughter any less, and her girlfriend is just so wonderful.
Yeah, amazing.
And
Truly amazing.
Truly amazing lady. And you know what? That's what it boils down to is we can all get along. It does not matter what your sexual orientation is. I'm not going to be out in public and, be nasty with Santino in front of kids.
No.
I mean, you just don't. So that's
What's that
my
one
biggest-
song? Black or yellow, red or white, they are all precious in his sight. Jesus
Yeah.
loves the little children of the world.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I know it's been a long time since we played the bishop.
Yes, it has.
He has removed his eye patch. Are you guys ready?
Yes. I agree, Wendy.
How does the bishop look? Not bad, eh? It's a prosthetic eye, but I need you to pray for me, for the Lord to change it into a real eye. Amen. The Lord is capable. He is God. And that is Jesus Christ of Nazareth. He is God and he can do anything and everything. And I trust in him no matter what. No matter what, I trust in him. Very soon, the same spot I'll be standing and I'll say to you, it's no longer prosthetic. It's a real eye this time. All right. We thank the Lord Jesus. Amen. Amen. We love him. We adore him. Even if we are upset, crying, we're angry, we're feeling down, we're feeling miserable, we love the Lord Jesus. Amen? Amen. Can't hear you. Amen. Come on. Amen. That's it, brother. Amen to that. Now, if anybody was falling asleep, I'm sure now they're fully alert and awake. I need your attention.
All right.
All right. Thoughts?
I mean, I started praying right away that glass eye turned real, because we know God does some pretty miraculous things.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
I agree as well. So
I mean, how old was Ruth when she had a baby? 99?
So I think so.
And then John the Baptist's mom, super older.
Yeah, she was of a certain age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that's a safe way to say that.
That's just. I have to get ready here.
Are you getting there? You
Yeah.
go. Okay.
That's just the way it is. God is the ultimate physician.
He is the ultimate physician. Everything happens for a reason.
Sarah was 99.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head.
Abraham's wife was 99. I do remember.
I thought he was
that.
99.
No,
and
he
she
was over 100.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't think the number's significant at this point in time. I think the significance is in the miracle. And
Exactly.
yeah, any miracle can happen. But the first miracle is that we still have Mari Mar. The guy's pocket knife closed on his fingers, as opposed to going into the bishop's, to hurt the bishop. I'm trying to think of a different way to say that. I'm not coming
Because
up
he
with that
got
right now.
hurt.
Oh, he got hurt, but it could have been significantly worse.
Yeah,
It could
he
have been a
did
lot
not
more
get
life-threatening.
unalived.
Yeah, he did not get unalived. And so there's the first miracle, and we're truly grateful for that. And I'm kind of like F. Glenn. He should have gotten a cool eye patch.
Well, there's that. So, earmuffs. We have Sassy.
It's Sassy.
And he is going to talk about why he's voting for Trump.
Let me tell you what sealed the deal for me for voting for Donald Trump. I deep-throated the red pill this year. He know Trump's policies are better. The liberals ain't even got no policies. It's running on a campaign. Vagina monologues. They never run on shit. Except you a woman, you got a vagina, let's go kill some babies. Grab your neighbor, grab a blender, get your Medicare prescription. Liberals are trash, and that's just fact. They want socialism in a country that's never going to accept socialism. Kamala's a socialist Marxist Nazi. I didn't damn stutter. The thing they are is the party of baby killers, racial divisiveness. They are the fucking problem. You'll never convince me otherwise of that. There was a moment when I quit thinking about policies and I'm like, you know what? I will vote for Donald Trump or die. When I realized he wouldn't quit. For who? You, me, this country, fucking America. Has been beat down, been drugged through the mud, gave away his salaries. People tried to bankrupt him, stain his name, act like he's some kind of sexual deviant, and a he said, she said bullshit. Then they'll turn right around and praise Kamala because she sucked a man's dick and broke up a family. She been stuffed with more meat than a grande soft taco. Had her bun spread more than a bread factory. Fucking original bimbo bakery. Just screams vagina virtue. Liberals would gag at a minute and deep throat a platypus. When DT got shot and still kept running, you name me a liberal that would have done that. Hell, you name me a candidate that would have done that. They can't jail this man, they can't beat him down, and they can't kill this man. You name me another presidential candidate in the fucking history that has ever been this determined to be president. Getting shot and keep on running, that's a selfless act. Any self-centered motherfucker would have packed up shop and went home. And y'all know it took the FBI a fucking week before they'd even come out and admit this man was actually shot. If that would have been a liberal, it would have took 30 seconds. But they'd set out to ban every gun in America. But because of who it was, they tried every way in the world to try to prove it was something else. Oh, a bug hit him real hard. Probably a flying spider. He cut his ear when he fell, probably. Probably a little carpet burn on the rug. Do you see how full of bullshit liberals are? This man could be doing anything in the world with his money. There's no ulterior motive. He don't have to do this. Nobody would have took the kind of abuse this man has taken. I don't care what this man does in his free time if he gets bent over and fucked by a giraffe. I don't care. 5 words for everybody. Not a single fuck given. Anybody that'll work this hard for me, for my beliefs, my religions, that motherfucker has got my vote. There has not been a candidate this fucking badass with this much common sense in the entire time I've been alive, and probably won't be another. His policies were trash. That alone would make me vote for this man. I said what I said. Go with the Lord.
Thought Santino.
So we've talked about it a lot here. President Trump, he's the guy that cares. He cares about something greater than himself. And that's all we ask for in our people that are deciding that they want to run to be president of this nation, along with being Congress and Senate and all those other things. It would be nice if they cared about something other than themselves. But that's also why we're seeing all of these things that we're seeing right now. The corruption is so in everybody's face that people will get so fed up to the point that they demand that change. Once Trump becomes president again, then we will be able to demand those kinds of changes that we need. It's fair time to try to fix a lot of the things that the progressives have been ruining ever since they stole the name progressive back from Teddy Roosevelt back in the day to make it to be the kind of, touchy-feely crap that they've turned it into this day. Because real progressivism was Teddy Roosevelt. And these are the kinds of things, again, people that cared about this nation more than themselves. They care about the greatness, the glory, and the freedom that America not only should represent, but it should also endow the citizens with, because, well, we should be truly free.
Mm-hmm. We should. Miss Bethany.
Amen to that. He is literally the most selfless man I have ever heard in my history.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
in our lifetimes.
Yeah, I mean, literally my lifetime. I don't believe I have ever heard of anybody so selfless that they're willing to give up their entire enterprise to run a country of willy-nilly, I don't support you type of people, but still stand proud.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. He has definitely put forth his life, his fortune, and his sacred honor. Has he not?
He absolutely has. He could just be playing golf and enjoying life.
He said that himself.
But he cares more about the country, and he cares about us.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
So,
yep.
You ready?
Yep.
Here we go. Indiana woman denies thousands in Act Blue donation, provides bank records against SEC claims. You ready?
Thank God we have all these agencies out there to
I
keep
know.
everything fair and honest.
Here we go.
Hello, everyone. I'm sitting here with my mother, and I decided to take a look at the election watch to see if my mother's name was safe and secure, with her name being used for contributions. And we found out that her name was being used over 30 times for Bernie Sanders contributions. Mom, did you make any contributions to Bernie Sanders?
Absolutely not.
Angie Jones from Indiana submitted a video of her mother, Alberta Jones, who goes by Mrs. Robert Jones, saying she did not donate to Act Blue or a Bernie Sanders PAC, as the FEC records show, from 2019 to 2024.
So you're positive you didn't make any?
I'm very positive. I have bank records that show where my contributions went.
Great. So you would turn those records over to me to prove that you didn't make these contributions?
Yes, indeed.
Alberta Jones gave O'Keefe Media her consent to show these bank records, proving during the time period of 2019, no donations were given to Act Blue at all.
How does that make you feel that your name was used?
I feel violated.
I'm sure you probably do. Well, I'm going to be turning this over to James O'Keefe, and hopefully we can get something done so we can stop this dark money from coming in. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Recent FEC records also show the Jones household, Alberta as Mrs. Robert Jones, has donated to Act Blue in 2024. That's despite the fact Alberta Jones says she's only donated to Republicans, including Trump and the RNC, and she has the receipts to prove it. How much do you donate a year, approximately?
Probably $600 to $700.
And
Closer to the election, I could give up to $1,000.
and who, say again, who you donate to?
To Trump, primarily Trump Save America.
Trump Save America. And when did your husband, Robert, pass away?
July the 12th, 2018.
Well, according to the FEC website, it says that your late husband is donating to Act Blue in 2024. It says
No
that
way, no way.
it says Friends of Bernie Sanders,
Yep.
April of 2024, $10.30 a month, monthly.
Monthly month. I can tell you, I wouldn't bother to write a check for $10.
This is Act Blue, Friends of Bernie, Act Blue. Yep.
Yep, that's what I found. Same thing.
How did you find that out? Did you put your name in the FEC website?
Well, yeah, I did what you did. I watched your video and I thought, I'll just look and see if my mom's on there, thinking they wouldn't because they're Republicans, and I didn't think Act Blue would go to a Republican account, and lo and behold, was I wrong. 30 times, over 30 times what I saw that in 2019 from Friends Bernie. I think it was like Friends for Bernie 2020.
The Jones household says they are going to call Act Blue and tell them they are recording the call. We hope an army of victims follow in Angie and Alberta Jones's footsteps. Are you a victim? Please watch our tutorial video pinned to the top of O'Keefe Media Group's social media accounts for a step-by-step tutorial on how to expose this. Provide video testimony and redacted bank statements showing you did not make the donations as the FEC is claiming you did, and we will get to the bottom of this together. Or go knock on doors in your neighborhood featuring the highest contributions to Act Blue by zip code that seem unusual. Record the victim's testimony and bank records, and stay tuned.
Yes. There we go.
Thoughts?
Just trying to share that O'Keefe Media Group. Oh, that's still up. There you go. Okay, just sharing the O'Keefe Media Group so that way you can check that out if you desire. It's love James O'Keefe. Obviously, they went after his original shop there, shut that down. He's been doing this forever and a day. And let's see, brought up the fact that he's the last great hope for what real journalism is. If there was some kind of a prize that wasn't tainted by those who have lied, about all of those awards that they have. I would say that O'Keefe would deserve that, but it wouldn't honor him anymore if they were to give him some of the prizes that already exist. So what does O'Keefe get? Well, he gets the appreciation of everybody, and maybe one day there'll be an O'Keefe prize that the left will try to steal and pervert, like they've done with so many of the other prizes that they have out there, like the Pulitzer, the Nobel, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly. Thoughts, Miss Bethany?
How absolutely distasteful is that they're like literally taking funding or names of people who are deceased and acting as though they've donated to Act Blue.
It's how they work. They have no problem voting as dead people. I'm curious as to how many times that guy's voted since he's died.
Oh, I know.
And I'm sure that O'Keefe will probably find that one out too, if it's not already in there. It's so they're going to take the deceased and put some money into somebody else's name, so that way they can cover their tracks. Rambo says he isn't the last great hope. We all are. Thank you, Rambo. Yeah, you get a boom, sir.
I agree with
Thank
that.
you, Rambo.
What upsets me though is I would be so angry if like they had done that to our family. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just wrong. And so are they pulling money out of these accounts?
No,
Two?
no. From what I've understood, the way they do it is that they make it look like it's coming from it's all fake.
Yeah.
It's
And
all
from what it
shell
looked
games.
like, what it looked
And
like
this
in
is
the video
exactly
that
what it
they
is,
were
Mike.
Yep. And what it looked like what they were showing in that video was it looked like they had pulled the records from what she had donated to Trump and just faked it and put it on Act Blue. And Jenny, I saw that you said, how do you check to see? You go to o'keefemediagroup.com and you go and you follow their directions that they have in a video.
That's crazy to me. That's crazy. And then they have the nerve.
No moral. No moral.
The nerves. Oh, see, look. The
Laundering.
blue is raising more money than red. Exactly. It's money laundering
It's money
101.
laundering. Yeah. And where do you think those pallets of cash go? You know, if we're not sending astronauts into space, what do you do with $33 billion a year?
Yep. Exactly. Exactly.
How it works.
Ooh, this has been going over a lot of stuff tonight, guys.
Yeah.
That's irritating me. You ready?
Yeah.
I don't know who need to hear this, but God said he took everything from you for a reason. He's stripping everything from you because he want a new you, because he has something new to pour into you. You can't pour new wine into old wineskins. Embrace the tough times. Embrace it. It get greater later. Blessings.
Thoughts?
I'll start. I needed everything taken away from me. I was an absolutely awful human being, and I had to not see success. I had to see who I really was, and the only way that that could happen is if things that were important to me were taken away. And it's part of the process. It's how the process works. It's how we burn off who we were so that we can become who we are supposed to be. Embrace the suck. Yeah, exactly. Embrace the suck, because that's how we change for the better.
Exactly.
And as many times as we have to pour the wine into a new wineskin because things keep on happening, keep using a new wineskin.
Exactly. Exactly.
It can be very difficult. It can be
can.
very, very difficult.
I know. Going through my car accident was and still is a pain. So, but it's brought me closer to God.
Yes, it has. All of this has.
Yeah.
And he's working through everybody else as well. And this is another place where I get my source of faith, that everything is changing for the positive, and that all of the evil plans that they have will not come to fruition. And we've read the book. We know how it ends.
Mm-hmm. We do.
Yeah. It'll be fine.
Exactly.
Just keep on running the race.
That's all we can do.
Yes, that's
You
it.
ready?
Yep.
I got Junior.
All right. That's a good one, Aaron.
Hey, I like Kellyanne. I've known her for a long time. I don't know how. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how do you do that. It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I guess you take the money and maybe that's DC or whatever happens over time. But I don't know how you can be part of a campaign and do that. I mean, clearly, the problem is this. The rich guys in Ukraine, they want the war to continue because they're stealing the money that we're sending them. They're happy to send the guys dying, on the battlegrounds as cannon fodder over there because they don't have any power, and so they'll send that. So, if you're working for Ukraine, it's hard. Like, I can't imagine anyone there is actually working for peace, and Trump's the only guy that can actually get peace there. So, yeah, like I said, I like Kellyanne a lot. That one, I don't know. It's just a little too. I don't want to comment any further because I'll get myself in trouble. But it's a little too swampy for my taste, and honestly, it's tough to sort of hard to believe. Maybe it's wrong. I don't know.
Thoughts?
Bethany?
Ooh, that boy be spitting out some facts right about now. And things that everybody needs to hear. It's the rich guys over there laundering the money and keeping this going, and those poor innocent people who continue to be shoved on those battlegrounds that are the ones that suffer.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I think a lot of people keep thinking Kamala won't beat the Democratic candidate, but I think that that's part of the movie, Mike. It's so the Ukraine. It's another funnel for money about how things like Act Blue happens. Somebody brought that up in the comments, and that's exactly it. This money has to flow. It's the only way, because the only way that they're able to do the things that they're capable of doing is because they found other people who have the lack of moral compass. And they care more about money. Mammon is their god. And if you can find people who that's their god and you're the ones that are printing it, well, I guess that kind of makes you their god, doesn't it? And until the money runs out, then their little story continues to exist. But it's all going away, especially as more and more people wake up. They know their days are numbered, and they know it's short, and they need a war so that way they can put people back to sleep. But I think that there's enough people now that they won't be going back to sleep because there's too many powder kegs with a lit fuse going on right now. And a lot of people start to recognize that they don't care about money as much as they care about continuing to breathe.
And we know she's willing to do whatever it takes to get where she wants to be. She's okay being on her knees, her back, whatever.
Whatever the case is, whatever works for her.
Yeah. Thank you, Miss
Thank you,
Tammy. You ready?
Yep.
CNN's in trouble.
What's new?
CNN is about to be sued for more than $1 billion. The best part is CNN is almost certainly going to lose. I'll see this headline right here. I promise you, this headline does not do it justice. But it says CNN attacks man for saving women. CNN said he broke Sharia law under the Taliban. This story is fucking wild. We all know that in the pull out of Afghanistan, we left a ton of people behind. We didn't leave behind any actual American citizens. We left behind a ton of people that had aided us when we were there. People we had promised that we were going to get to safety. We just didn't. Well, a man named Zachary Young wasn't cool with that. So he created an organization whose only goal was to get women and children out of Afghanistan and out from under Taliban control. And he was really good at it. Problem was, nobody was financially supporting him. Nobody was financially backing what he was doing. So in turn, a lot of these people had to pay for him to be able to do this. CNN saw that, and not only did they try to vilify him, but they tried to make him sound like a human trafficker who was exploiting these people. They even accused him of sexual exploitation. The funny thing is, you normally couldn't sue for something like that, because the standard for being able to sue for defamation is like insanely high. Because the standard requires actual expressed malice. Normally, news companies are able to just say we were reporting on what we thought we knew. But not in this case, because Zach was able to actually get the internal communications from CNN. Alex Marquardt, the primary reporter, said in a message to a colleague that he wanted to nail this motherfucker, that the story would be Young's funeral. And when he said that, the editor responded, "Gonna hold you to that, cowboy." And Jake Tapper, when he ran the story on his show, The Lead, made a point to say that people were given no guarantee of safety or success. Hey, that's how all military operations work, homie. But even though they repeatedly said what he's doing was a scam, at no point could they prove that. They have multiple messages from the editors admitting that they couldn't find any evidence of it. Another thing they found in Discovery, Digital decided not to publish a digital version from Alex. They told me it was because they would not answer the question, is this a scam? They wanted to say it was a scam. They repeatedly said it was a scam, and then they admitted they couldn't prove that. They didn't care because they wanted to nail this Zachary Young motherfucker. Believe it or not, it gets worse. So in their defense, CNN then switched it up, saying that he wasn't violating international law or U.S. law. No, they said he was violating Sharia law. CNN literally said the rescuing of women and children from under the Taliban control violated Sharia law. And that's why they were saying he was a criminal. They're actually claiming that they had a right to go after Zachary Young because he was violating Islamic religious law. By rescuing women who were part of families that supported the United States and were very likely going to be captured, tortured, and probably raped, Zachary Young was violating the Taliban's Sharia law. And because he was violating Sharia law, CNN had a right to go after him. So an American news agency is attacking an American man for rescuing Afghani women and children because saving them from the capture, torture, and rape that they were going to be subjected to violated the Taliban's Sharia law. These motherfuckers just got to host a presidential debate.
Thoughts, Miss Bethany?
He's out there doing God's work. And the media does this. And everybody's going to believe the media. Thankfully, we've got people like him that'll go out there and spread the truth. But he's out there doing God's work and saving other God-fearing people, women, children, everything else. And this is the thanks that he gets for saving other American strong, patriotic people. I don't get it. Make it make sense.
I don't think it was the Americans that he was saving, and
it was them.
the Afghani women
There
that
you
were
go.
Okay,
were
so
threatened
I
by.
misunderstood that.
That's fine.
Thank you.
But that's fine because they were women that were helping the Americans while they were there. And because they were helpful, they were going to do all of those awful things to those people. Tracy says the media will make the innocent guilty and the guilty innocent. Exactly. Could you imagine what they would have done with Teddy Roosevelt in Cuba with the Rough Riders?
Oh, I know.
How would history have been written had the modern press been writing everything about our American, like the people who have been important Americans throughout history? What would they have said about George Washington? They're clearly the Tories, the people who would have sided with the crown, and they're still here. They never left. They just went underground, and we're getting to see who they are to this very day.
Yeah.
And Denise says Sharia has no place on this planet, especially in this country. I understand exactly what you're saying. But the thing is when you're going to save lives, obviously you're going to break the law in a country where you're going to try to save some people. It's like if people that were running the Underground Railroad were lambasted for breaking Confederate laws when they were trying to bring freed slaves across the Mason-Dixon line. It's really that kind of a ridiculous thought process that they have.
But Jenny shared a video and I had it queued up for right after that because
Oh, really?
guess what? Is this another step
I
towards
know.
Sharia
We're
law in the
marching towards
United
it.
States? Are you ready?
Yeah.
New Yorkers say they're shocked after seeing Muslim patrol cars roaming their neighborhoods like police squads. These Muslim community patrols just began operating in Brooklyn this year, and according to the Council on American Islamic Relations, they are the first of their kind in the United States.
I kind of wanted to believe that this was just some sort of joke, April Fools, that it was an Onion News Network article, perhaps Babylon Bee. But then I went ahead and typed MCP into the search engine. Yeah, and then this popped up. Muslim Community Patrol and Services, a nonprofit organization in Brooklyn, New York. Oh, there's the address and the phone number should you have some concerns and questions about why there's a Muslim Community Patrol in the United States. Also, perhaps you could ask why this car right there, those cars, look a lot like that car. Kind of comes off as impersonating a fucking police officer, doesn't it? Yeah, there's already been reports about this MCP or Muslim Community Patrol harassing people for drinking alcohol in a Muslim area, for wearing revealing clothing in a Muslim area, and other things that are against Sharia law. They even referred to themselves as a community patrol on steroids. They're operating under the guise of preventing terror attacks against Muslims. Hello, New York. Hi, you guys awake? You up from your nap? I think you should have questions now. Perhaps you should call your local legislators, your city council, your mayor, sheriff's department, governor, fucking senator. Call fucking somebody and ask them why it's being allowed for the Muslims to patrol their own communities in cars that look strikingly fucking similar to NYPD cars, and ask them why this is being allowed to happen, why they're allowed to harass people that are not obeying Sharia law in certain districts in Brooklyn, fucking New York, and the United fucking States, huh? This shit is a problem, and it needs to get addressed fucking yesterday. Okay? Call people, please. Even call them. Ask them why they're doing this shit. But what you can't do is just sit back and allow Muslims to police Brooklyn, fucking New York.
Thoughts?
Wow. Just wow. That should be considered impersonating police officer.
Mm-hmm.
They shouldn't be able to, in my opinion, police anybody but their own if they are allowed to be there. What part of the government allowed them to be here? That's the part that I don't get or understand, because they're running off of completely different rules, laws, and regulations than we do in the United States.
Whew. I told you guys we had a bunch of interesting stuff that was happening today, and it just keeps on.
Just keeping on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. Actually, so one of the first things that popped up in my mind is what happened to all those secret police stations from the CCP that were in New York City. New York City, y'all seem to have a real bad time over there. I really hope that things can change for the better sooner rather than later, because you have the Communist Chinese Party actually running a police station there. You got Sharia law police out there, and then you got all these illegals running amok, beating up your police officers, and for some reason, things haven't changed. And I know that New Yorkers don't agree with the things that are going on over there right now, especially like when Trump visited the Bronx, and he had a huge supportive crowd out there for him. New York is not for all this crap. We see this. We know this.
It's their politicians.
It's their politicians. People are sick and tired of the politicians pulling the same old stunts that they have forever and a day. And it's going to change. And I think that that's the only thing that's keeping people calm and patient at this point in time, is because even though we know that they stole the last election and that they're going to do some kind of shenanigans for this election, we still have faith in the system and the people that are actually in charge of the things going on in this nation, that President Trump will be back in office. Because I think everybody knows that at this point in time, if they steal another election, as everybody's awakening to the reality of what's been happening for the past more than 4 years, more than 8 to 12, 16, past 6 presidents, is and more, back to Woodrow Wilson and even further possibly. And so I think people are just not going to accept the BS anymore. And that's what we're waking up to. Mike says they had them in Philadelphia too. What? It's wild. Of course, I know that it was a while ago. This was during the Obama's first election, when the Black Panthers were poll watchers over there in Philly. That was
I know.
exciting. Good job, FBI, on dealing with that terrorist threat.
Mm-hmm.
I really feel like a big part of this is the huge uptick in everybody's faith in God.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going to pull us out of this in the end.
Yeah.
All glory and honor be His,
Yep.
because it couldn't happen any other way.
Yep. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
So we're always talking about be careful what you're eating. So if you drink diet soda or chew gum, do yourself a favor and watch this. So
What's with the chewing gum push lately?
just watch.
All right.
My name is Jim Turner. I'm an attorney in Washington, D.C., and I've been working on stopping aspartame NutraSweet since 1970. This product is a dangerous product made up of 3 neurotoxins, any one of which could cause you health problems. Combined, it's really dangerous. The most interesting thing, however, is it's on the market because of politics. When we started attacking NutraSweet back in 1970, we were able to actually keep it off the market for 11 years until 1981. And we had a public board of inquiry convened by the FDA, which ruled that it should not be marketed. The data showed it was likely to be a cancer-causing chemical. This was in 1980. 1 month after that board ruled, Ronald Reagan was elected president, and Donald Rumsfeld, the president of the company that made NutraSweet, that made aspartame, was on the transition team and arranged for a particular person to be made commissioner of the FDA, who overruled the public board of inquiry, overruled all scientists at the FDA who had looked at it, and overruled the public board of inquiry who were outside scientists. So we have here the combination of political toxicity and biological toxicity working together and creating serious problems. After that product went on the market, the number of glioblastomas, the cancerous tumor that showed up in the brains of mice in the studies we were relying on, increased by 10% in the United States in the human population. All in all, it's a horrendous story. Be sure to check everything out about it. And if you feel that you're having any kind of symptoms, get off it for a month and see if they go away.
Thoughts?
I used to be an avid Diet Mountain Dew drinker. I used to drink, I would say 3 to 4 16-ounce bottles a day. Thank God my eyes were opened. My brain actually works now. If anything, just listen to this, because, oh my goodness, just stay away from it, guys. Get off of it if you can.
Mm-hmm.
Find a different source of caffeine, because I tell you what, coffee is really good. Make your
Yes.
own creamer. Coffee is amazing.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Aspartame gave me headaches too. It was one of the things that kept me from
I
drinking
can't-
any of that crap. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I can't have it because of the gastric bypass. It will literally eat a hole
Rip
in
a
your
hole.
stomach.
Yeah, it's ant poison.
Mhm.
Yeah. Thank you, Wendy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's poison. Well,
Rumsfeld.
Rumsfeld, huh? Yeah. Surprise.
Yeah.
But I caught something, little tiny snippet in there, and that was all of the scientists at the FDA had stated to not allow it,
Mhm.
yet it got put in anyways.
Imagine that.
This is one more of those things where people are fighting the good fight, that they're in all of these administrations and organizations that are out there. Like I said, I have good friends who are in the VA, guys that I served with, and they're doing everything they can to make sure that everything is going as best as they can. It's not the people that are working there, and we have to remember to separate that, because the Food and Drug Administration was created back in the 20s or 30s because of all of, well, surprise, surprise, the human meat that was going into the meat. They were the ones that said, you're only allowed to have so many bugs in X amount in a bar of chocolate. And these were the things that they were created for, yet they're doing them all over again. But they found a way to hide everything. It's just like acetaminophen would probably never be approved by the Food and Drug Administration today. It would not happen because of the things that interact poorly with it. these are things. So drinking alcohol and taking Tylenol is a sure way to play liver roulette. Is what you're doing every single time. It's terrifying. Whoops, it's terrifying, but it's we got a lot of work to do once President Trump gets back into office. Once he gets back into office is just the beginning. And we're going to have to be ever vigilant moving forward in the future to make sure that our health is our primary concern. And we have to recognize that the government, as well intentioned as all of these people are, they're well intentioned. The path to hell is paved with good intentions. And we've really been seeing that paved path for quite some time now.
Exactly. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
If Kamala Harris wins the 2024 presidency, then the economic depression that was meant for Donald Trump will fall to her administration. And so this is a message for you educated liberals and progressives who somehow missed what's obvious about the economy. We can't afford to be progressive anymore. Like, we printed money, right? We opened borders, flooded the census, which indirectly impacted the cost of living to rise. That's why you can't afford anything. We could not afford to fund Ukraine for your democracy. We could not afford to fund Iran either, but we are. We're spurring World War III. We can't afford to do that, but we are. So here's my point. If you want to focus and fixate on Kamala Harris's genitals and her brown skin, I hope you understand political strategy is making a fool out of you. You see, it's Donald Trump that's supposed to take all the blame for the incoming economic depression. Now that you want to support Kamala Harris at the rate that you're supporting her, that guarantees that she's going to inherit it. And that guarantees that you're going to be going through a depression as an economy together while under her administration. And she just showed you that she's incompetent. She showed you, look at her resume on the border. She showed you that her Marxist subscriptions make her incompetent. They disqualify her from being the leader of the country. That you have to ask yourself, whose administration do you want to be under as you're going through a depression? Because strategically, the establishment has made a fool out of us. And we're also dealing with liberals and progressives who absolutely 100% show that they sacrifice everything for their ideology. You know, good for them, I guess. But at the end of the day, we have no business sharing a union from this moment forward. If you actually let Kamala Harris ascend to the White House and make a move to secede from the union, you have to make that your fight. You can actually make her presidency moot in your state. You can cut off the policies that travel from the White House to a state near you. You'd be safer going through a depression without Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is going to be focused on taking your guns. She's going to be focused on all the stuff that women generally are, all the feelings stuff. Meanwhile, you're going to see an age where you have to protect your resources and your food and your families and yourselves. Do you want Kamala Harris to be the chief and commander? If you do, listen up. And this is not to be vulgar, but I hope her genitalia and her melanin and her strong black queen energy gets you through the economic depression that was meant to fall on Donald Trump's lap. Congrats, you got played.
Thoughts?
Just amazing how she put that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, you vote her in, she's going to have to take all of the things that have been set up for Donald Trump, and she is not prepared for it. She is 100% not prepared for it, and she's going to focus on things that, like she said, women will. Because we do, because we happen to be very sentimental beings. And then the depression will be, I would guess, 100 times worse under her watch, because Trump will walk in there and be like, no, this ain't happening on my watch.
But it's set up to fail, and she's the perfect person to make it fail. Make it fail under her watch. should just, disappear, or they'll keep telling us how great she is, whatever the case is. But it's something that's going to require, and you hit the nail on the head, Bethany. It's something that's going to require somebody who has the capability, intelligence, wisdom to be able to run organizations that have large funds of money that run through them. President Trump has already shown that he's capable of doing it. And the disasters that are coming down the pipeline right now, we already know that Putin respects him. We know that Xi Jinping respects him. We know that Kim Jong-un actually respects President Trump. And we're pretty sure that Iran knows better, and that if they FA, they're going to FO with President Trump in office. So boom, all of those problems vaporize in a moment. They let Russia, and Trump already has some kind of a deal that once he becomes president, that will deal with the Ukrainian issue over in Russia. China will stop trying to take over more and more parts of the Pacific, and Iran and North Korea will get back in line and probably change for the better, because President Trump is going to have fewer things to focus on globally, and he can try to get those countries back to something where that they should be, where North and South Korea finally decide to unite as one Korea. That would be an amazing time in this world for the Koreas to reunite. That's something that we desperately need, and I believe that President Trump could certainly get us there. And if he doesn't get us there, that it would be set up for a softball kind of hit for whoever comes in afterward, to make sure that that Korean war is finally over, because it's not over. It's just a ceasefire. As far as the economy goes, I know that President Trump understands how money flows, and he will make the money flow again, and he'll make us energy independent. He's already shown that he can do it, and he will have the support of a Republican Congress and Senate this time. So it can get a lot better, a lot faster.
I agree. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Our veterans deserve better.
Okay.
Okay, an immigrant left a receipt in the store. And you know how I got the food stamp remaining balance at the bottom of the receipt, right? $13,500 with a $5,000 cash, Larry. Okay. Migrant, somebody that's not from this country. Now, you are a veteran, and you've also served this country, correct?
Correct.
Now tell these fucking people, okay, after I just said they left the receipt with a $13,000 food stamp balance. Tell these people, as a veteran that served this country, right? Tell them how much food stamps you get in a month.
$23. $23.
23, not 2,300.
$23.
Not 230. How much you getting in food stamps a month?
$23 a month.
$23 versus a person that's not even from this fucking country, versus a person that did not serve this fucking country. $13,000 they said it was on that receipt.
$23.
And you fighting to get your what?
100.
Your 100% from the VA. He can't even get it. Right. America, you should be a fucking ashamed of your goddamn self. You should be ashamed of yourself. See if Kamala gonna fix that. Here this man is a veteran, okay? Fighting for his 100%. He done fought for this country, and he get $23 worth of food stamps every month. And then they done found a damn receipt of an immigrant, a migrant, getting $13,000 a month, Larry. Not every 5 months, not every year, a month. Is it not a slap in the face?
Slap in the face. But that's sad. Fighting for this country ain't even worth it.
Nope, it's not. You got it, roll with it.
This absolutely infuriates me. First of all, veterans shouldn't have to be on food stamps. Second of all, they should definitely get more than a damn immigrant getting $13,500. Fuck these people. Bethany.
America, I really hope you're listening right now. I really hope that you're listening to what these people had to say in that video. Because I tell you what, we are doing a disservice for the members of any branch from the military that have served for our country in order to protect our lives so then we can keep our freedom. We are doing a horrible disservice. These men and women that have served to keep us free are being abused.
We got you in our prayers, Tracy.
We do, Tracy.
Go ahead, Santino. Thoughts?
It's worse than that. There's people on active duty that are on food stamps.
I know.
Not just veterans, the people that are serving right now. That's twisted already. It's already worse than that. It's been worse than that forever and a day. They have been taking care of the illegal aliens coming across this country. Nobody should be surprised by this now. They're getting all of the freebies because they're buying votes. That's what they're doing. That's how they're doing it. They're bringing all these people over here because they're planning on replacing us. It's a replacement theory. It's plain and simple. It's clear as day, clear as crystal. We can see that they're replacing everybody and that they plan on, well, let all of the crises happen and let the chips fall where they may. And they think that they're going to be on top in the end. And that's why this election is so important. Will everything be fixed by the wave of Donald Trump's magic wand? Of course not. That's not what's going to happen. It's going to require each and every one of us. And we're going to have to make our voices heard, even when President Trump gets in office. But the good thing is he'll actually listen. Congress will start to listen. It's time to fix things, but the House needs to be cleaned first. And it's going to be interesting to watch how the House gets cleaned once President Trump gets back into the office, because we see all of the dirty tricks that they've been trying to bring out for their own reelections, so that way they can hold on to power. But their days are numbered, and the time is nigh that their day is over. Their day is over, and those people will all go back home, and it'll make even more sense when the dollar's not around anymore. And that's the part that I think that we all need to most certainly hold on to, is to get rid of the dollar as it is and go back to a precious metal standard the way it was designed and meant to be in our Constitution.
Yep. You ready?
Yep.
It's kind of crazy when you think about it, that today is the tomorrow that you were worried about yesterday. And here you sit worrying about tomorrow, but making it through today. Take that in for a second, man. Be here. Be there tomorrow. Just let what's going to happen, happen. And do your best to stay strong. You did it yesterday and the day before. Keep doing it. I'm proud of you.
All right, Santino.
I thought, I had no idea that we had the Kamala show for so long today, but it kind of works out, because that was probably something that Kamala probably should have been saying in terms of yesterday's, today's, and tomorrow's. All we have is today. And when we take full advantage of the day that's in front of us, only letting the past guide or influence our decisions that we make for today, so we can set up something better for the following day. It's all done in the present. Everything is done in the present. You can set yourselves up, but if it's supposed to happen, it will. If it's not supposed to happen, it won't. So it's very important that we focus on what's available to us at this very moment, and that is the present. So take advantage of the present every single chance that you can, because it's the only thing you have ever had and will ever have.
Any seasoning, Bethany?
Absolutely. Don't just focus on what happened behind you. While it still made you the person that you are today, it's your today that counts the biggest. Keep focusing on the positive things. and keep having trust that God will lead you to where you need to be in your life in order to do what He wants for you in your lifetime.
Amen.
Beautiful.
Amen.
All right, everybody. Well, we thank each and every one of you for joining us today. Thank you for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and Pill.net.
And if you haven't already, please take a moment and hit that thumbs up if you're over on Rumble and YouTube. Take that red pill if you're over on Pilled. Smash that heart if you're over on X. Remember, sharing is caring, and we love each and every one of you. And we will definitely see you tomorrow because we didn't get through about 8 videos, and we'll do those tomorrow.
All right, everybody. We love you all. Have a great night. God bless and be safe.